Picture this. You're standing in line at the airport VIP lounge, watching a woman in designer clothes march straight to the front, cut past everyone, and demand the best seat in the house. She points at a young black man sitting quietly in the corner and loudly announces, "Excuse me, that's clearly not where you belong." What she didn't know was that the man she just humiliated didn't just belong there, he literally owned every single seat, every plane, and every lounge in that entire airport. This isn't fiction, this actually happened at Miami International Airport last month, and what unfolded next left 200 witnesses speechless, broke the internet within hours, and taught everyone watching a lesson they'll never forget about assumptions, respect, and the price of prejudice. It was a Thursday evening at Miami International, and the Crown Elite Lounge was buzzing with the usual crowd of business travelers trying to catch their breath between flights. The lounge was exclusive, membership cost $5,000 a year, and even then, certain sections were reserved only for the most elite passengers. In the center of the lounge sat the Crown Pavilion, a raised section with premium seating that overlooked the entire terminal. It was stunning floor-to-ceiling windows, marble tables, and only 12 seats total. These weren't just any seats. They were reserved for Crown Imperial members, a level so exclusive that fewer than 100 people in the world qualified for it. That evening, Patricia Whitmore, a 52-year-old pharmaceutical executive from Boston, stormed into the lounge like she owned the place. Her Hermes bag swung authoritatively at her side, her heels clicked against the marble floor with purpose, and her expression showed every ounce of the frustration she'd been carrying since her delayed connection from London. Patricia had been traveling for 18 hours straight. Her first-class seat on the previous flight had been downgraded due to a mechanical issue. Her luggage was lost somewhere over the Atlantic, and she was running on nothing but airport coffee and pure indignation. As she scanned the Crown Elite Lounge, her eyes immediately locked onto the Crown Pavilion. She saw the premium seating, the perfect view, and most importantly, she saw what she considered her rightful place in the hierarchy of air travel. But there was someone already sitting there. Marcus Williams, 34 years old, sat quietly in one of the pavilion's corner seats. He was dressed simply dark jeans, a crisp white button-down, and a navy blazer. No flashy watch, no obvious designer logos. He had his laptop open, a cup of coffee beside him, and was completely absorbed in reviewing what looked like financial documents. To Patricia, he looked ordinary, too ordinary for such an exclusive space. Patricia approached the pavilion entrance, but the hostess, a young woman named Carmen, politely stopped her. "Excuse me, Mom, but the Crown Pavilion requires Crown Imperial membership. May I see your credentials?" Patricia's jaw tightened. "I've been flying for 24 years, and I've never been denied access to any lounge section. I'm a Platinum Elite member with over 2 million miles. Carmen's smile remained professional but firm. "I understand, ma'am, but this particular section has different requirements. I'd be happy to show you to our other premium seating areas." "No." Patricia's voice rose enough to catch the attention of nearby passengers. "I can see there are empty seats right there. Why can't I sit where I want?" That's when she noticed Marcus again. He looked up from his laptop, probably wondering about the commotion, and their eyes met for just a second. Patricia's frustration found its target. "I mean, seriously," she gestured toward Marcus with barely concealed irritation. "He's sitting there like he belongs, and I'm being told there's no room." Carmen's face flushed with embarrassment, but she maintained her professionalism. "Mum, every person in that section has the appropriate membership level." "Oh, please." Patricia's voice carried across the lounge now. Other passengers were definitely watching. "Look at him, really look at him. Does he look like he belongs in the most exclusive section of this lounge? I've seen his type before, probably using miles from some credit card promotion or got lucky with an upgrade." The lounge went quiet, not completely silent, but that kind of quiet where conversations pause and ears tune in, sensing that something significant is happening. Marcus closed his laptop slowly. He didn't look angry, exactly, but there was something in his posture that shifted. He stood up, all 6 feet 2 inches of him, and walked calmly toward the pavilion entrance. "Is there a problem here?" His voice was measured, professional. Patricia turned toward him with a kind of smile that wasn't really a smile. "Actually, yes. I think there's been some kind of mistake with the seating arrangements. Marcus looked at Carmen, who was clearly uncomfortable with the entire situation. Carmen, what seems to be the issue? Sir, this guest would like access to the pavilion, but she doesn't have Crown Imperial status. I was explaining our policy. Policy? Patricia interrupted, her voice dripping with condescension. The policy that lets random people sit in premium sections while actual elite travelers get turned away. Marcus studied her for a moment. Random people. Look, Patricia said, her patience completely gone now. I don't know how you got access to that section, but I've been flying longer than you've probably been alive. I know how these things work. There are people who belong in exclusive areas and people who don't. The weight of her words hung in the air like smoke. Several passengers had stopped eating, stopped typing, stopped pretending they weren't listening. The implication was crystal clear and everyone heard it. Marcus nodded slowly. I see, so you think I don't belong here. I think, Patricia said, her voice getting louder, that there's been some kind of error and it should be corrected. Some of us have earned the right to sit where we want. A businessman at a nearby table whispered to his colleague, did she really just say that? A young woman with her phone out had discreetly started recording. This felt like one of those moments that was about to become something bigger. Marcus remained calm. Carmen, could you please check my membership status for this guest? Carmen looked confused. Sir, you know I don't need to. Please, Marcus said gently. I think it would be helpful. Carmen hesitated, then pulled out her tablet and scanned Marcus's membership card. Her eyes widened as she read the screen. She stammered, looking between Marcus and Patricia. Mr. Williams holds ... Crown Imperial Plus status. Patricia blinked. Plus, I've never heard of a plus level. Carmen looked at Marcus as if asking permission to continue. It's the highest level we have, reserved for special cases. But Patricia wasn't deterred. Well, that's convenient. Look, I don't know what kind of miles program manipulation is happening here, but I know what I see. And what I see is someone who clearly got these privileges through some kind of mistake or ... other means. The other means hung in the air with all the ugly implication she intended. That's when Marcus made a decision that would change everything. Carmen, he said quietly, could you please call Mr. Rodriguez from airport management? I think we need to clarify a few things. Sir, that's really not necessary. Please. Carmen looked nervous but made the call. Within minutes, a distinguished man in a suit was walking quickly across the lounge toward them. His name tag read Eduardo Rodriguez, airport general manager. But here's where it got interesting. As soon as Rodriguez saw Marcus, his entire demeanor changed. His professional walk became more urgent, more respectful. He approached with a kind of deference you'd show to someone very important. Mr. Williams, Rodriguez said, extending his hand immediately. I wasn't aware you were traveling through Miami today. Is everything all right? Is there anything you need? Rodriguez looked at Patricia, then back at Marcus. Ma'am, Mr. Williams is one of our most valued. Eduardo, Marcus interrupted gently. This guest has some concerns about lounge access policies. She believes there might be some confusion about who belongs in the Crown Pavilion. Patricia's confidence wavered for the first time. I was just pointing out that the exclusivity policies don't seem to be consistently applied. Rodriguez looked genuinely confused. Ma'am, I'm not sure what you mean. The policies are very clear, and Mr. Williams certainly qualifies for any space in this lounge. How? Patricia's voice was getting smaller now, but she pressed on. I mean, what kind of membership does he have that's so special? Rodriguez glanced at Marcus, who gave a small nod. Well, ma'am, Rodriguez said carefully, Mr. Williams doesn't exactly have a membership. Patricia's eyes lit up. Exactly, that's what I've been saying. No, Rodriguez continued, he doesn't need one. Mr. Williams is the owner and CEO of Skybridge Airlines. This entire lounge, actually this entire terminal wing, is part of his airline's operations. The silence that followed was deafening. Patricia's face went through a series of expressions: confusion, disbelief, horror, and finally, crushing embarrassment in about 3 seconds. Owner, she whispered. CEO and majority stakeholder, Rodriguez confirmed. Skybridge Airlines has been one of the fastest-growing carriers in the industry for the past 5 years under Mr. Williams' leadership. The passengers who had been pretending not to listen weren't pretending anymore. Phones were out, some recording, some frantically texting. The young woman who had been filming from the beginning zoomed in on Patricia's face, capturing the exact moment reality hit her. But Patricia looked around desperately, as if someone might rescue her from this nightmare. He's so young ... and he doesn't look like... She stopped herself, but everyone knew what she was about to say. Marcus stepped forward. His voice was still calm, but there was steel underneath it now. I don't look like what, exactly? Patricia's mouth opened and closed without sound. Like a CEO, like someone who could build a billion-dollar airline from the ground up. Like someone who belongs in an exclusive lounge. The questions hung in the air, each one landing with more impact than the last. Patricia started, then stopped. I didn't mean. Yes, you did, Marcus said quietly. You meant exactly what you said. You looked at me and decided, based on nothing but your own assumptions, that I didn't belong here. And when you were corrected, you doubled down. You made it clear that your objection wasn't about policies or memberships. It was about who you thought deserved to be in the same space as you. By now, a small crowd had gathered. Other lounge guests, airport staff, even some travelers passing by had stopped to see what was happening. The energy in the room was electric. Everyone could feel they were witnessing something that would be talked about for years. Patricia looked around at all the faces watching her. Some showed sympathy, others showed disgust, but most showed something worse, pity. Mr. Williams, she said, her voice barely above a whisper. I apologize. I was frustrated and tired, and I said things I shouldn't have said. Marcus nodded. I appreciate that, but apologies don't erase impact. Your words didn't just affect me, they affected everyone who heard them. They affected Carmen, who had to stand there and watch a guest insult someone she knew deserved respect. They affected every person in this lounge who now has to wonder what assumptions you made about them too. Rodriguez stepped forward. Mr. Williams, would you like me to handle this situation? Marcus held up a hand. No, that's all right. Patricia, may I call you Patricia? You're obviously a frequent traveler. You know airports, you know airline policies. You've probably seen real problems with discrimination and unfair treatment before. Patricia nodded reluctantly. Then you know that what happened here wasn't about seating or membership levels. It was about something much deeper. And the fact that I own this airline doesn't make your assumptions any less wrong. It just makes the irony more obvious. He paused, letting that sink in. If I were just another passenger, if I were a teacher or a mechanic or a student using miles for a vacation, would that have made your words acceptable? Patricia shook her head, tears starting to form in her eyes. That's the real question, isn't it? Whether someone deserves respect based on who you think they are. What happened next made the story legendary. Instead of having Patricia escorted out, instead of making a scene or seeking revenge, Marcus did something unexpected. Carmen, he said, could you please show Patricia to the Crown Pavilion? I'd like her to be my guest. Everyone in the lounge, Patricia included, stared at him in shock. Sir, Carmen looked confused. She wanted to sit in the exclusive section, and I think she should have that opportunity. Sometimes the best way to learn about dignity is to receive it when you least expect it. Patricia's tears were flowing freely now. I can't, after what I said. After what you said, Marcus interrupted, you have a choice. You can let this moment define you, or you can let it teach you. The invitation stands. Patricia looked around the lounge one more time. At the faces watching her, at the phones recording her, at the man she had so badly misjudged offering her grace she hadn't earned. Thank you, she whispered, but I think I need to sit with what happened here. I need to think about the person I was a few minutes ago and decide if that's who I want to keep being. She gathered her bag and walked quietly toward a regular seat in the main lounge area, leaving the Crown Pavilion behind. Marcus watched her go, then turned to address the crowd that had gathered. Everyone, he said, his voice carrying across the lounge, I hope you'll remember that we all carry assumptions. We all make snap judgments. The difference is what we do when we're confronted with the truth about ourselves. That's when character really shows. Within hours, the video of the confrontation had millions of views. The hashtags #Crown Pavilion and #Skybridge CEO were trending worldwide. News outlets picked up the story, not just as a viral moment, but as a masterclass in leadership and dignity. Marcus Williams became the subject of think pieces about grace under pressure, about successful young black entrepreneurs, and about the importance of treating everyone with respect regardless of assumptions. Patricia Whitmore, meanwhile, issued a public apology video that went viral for different reasons. In it, she spoke candidly about her own biases, her embarrassment, and her commitment to examining the prejudices she didn't even realize she carried. "I looked at a successful, accomplished man," she said in the video, "and I saw only what my biases wanted me to see. The fact that he responded to my ignorance with grace doesn't excuse it. If anything, it makes me more ashamed of how I behaved." But perhaps the most powerful part of the story wasn't the confrontation or even the revelation. It was Marcus's final gesture offering dignity to someone who had tried to strip it from him. Because that's the real lesson here. It's not about who owns what airline or who has which membership level. It's about recognizing that respect isn't something you earn through status or wealth or the color of your skin. It's something you give because someone is human, because they deserve it, because that's the kind of person you choose to be. The next time you're in an airport or a restaurant or any space where you encounter someone who looks different from you, remember Patricia and Marcus. Remember that your assumptions say more about you than they do about anyone else. And remember that dignity, both giving it and receiving it, is always a choice. Choose wisely, because you never know who's watching or recording.